World Trigger. This is World Trigger chapters 209 and 210. We're starting with 209, the away mission test part 7. Do you like conjecture? Because this is a lot. Okay, so basically last we left off, the exam portion has just begun of the away mission test, and every squad has received a special assignment. The special assignment for the first special assignment is a question to pose to every member of every squad. Why do you think your squads were shuffled for the purposes of the test? And they're supposed to compile everybody's opinions and send them by 3 p.m. I think the next day. So basically, everybody goes through their reasoning for the most part. It's a lot to kind of go through it. There's a lot of differing opinions. A couple of which being that there's a couple of interesting things I haven't thought about this exam in a while. Like Sawamura brings up the fact that if one person leaves for this trip because they're not taking full squads on away missions. So say if Azuma leaves, then Kourai and Okudera might be placed on a different squad. And that might be the reason that they're shuffling squads. Some people suggest that they're choosing squads, they're choosing candidates to become temporary captains or even management in Border because of a possible expansion of Border. And it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting theories. In the middle of this, the first of the two chapters ends with the power going out, and Osamu recharges the power in the ship, and it turns on everything but Osamu's laptop, and that's where the cliffhanger of this chapter is. Leave it to World Trigger to have a literal cliffhanger be, my laptop doesn't work. It's very World Trigger of them.
But it's so much deeper than than just normally your laptop dies.
Yeah, normally your laptop dies like, oh damn it, my laptop died, but this is an earth-shattering event in World Trigger. But yeah, they're just like, what happened? And they figure it out pretty much within the next page. Osamu is simply out of Tryon after recharging the ship on his own. So, and all of these computers are powered by Tryon. So because he doesn't have any more Tryon, there's no more power in the laptop. The quick fist Osamu puts together, because he's very good at this. He's a problem solver supreme. He's like, yo, can I take pictures of your questions and I'll work on my questions on paper, and then the next day when my Tryon is at full, I can just submit my answers once I'm done. And everybody's like, oh yeah, good idea. Even Sua's like, whoa, not bad. Yeah, I like this. The very next scene is actually the top brass at Border going around and just kind of discussing what the results of their exam were. They break down that Inukai, Yuba, Kodera, Suwa, Ninomiya, Arafune, and Kurauchi all brought up the possibility of potential candidates for captains or management roles. And they're also judging on how the A-rank squad participants are judging their answers. So it's like several separations.
There's a lot, yeah. It's a good amount of that happening.
Yeah, specifically the people who gave that group points was Fuyushima, Maki, Ayasuji, Kizaki, and Yuri Rindo. There are two people, Oji and Some, Captain Oji and the operator for Katori squad known as Some. They came up with the idea that this whole thing was a large-scale experiment involving the long-term prospects of Border. So it's basically just a big data collection exam. And they particularly home in on Some because she comes up with something that's like she's way more detailed in it. And it's actually kind of an interesting way to look at it where she says basically it's to simulate the advancement to B rank. It's basically like you ever think to yourself like going back in time with the knowledge that you know now and approaching a situation differently based on the experiences and everything that you've earned is basically what this test is all about. It's basically putting you in a new situation with new teammates and seeing what you do now that you've learned a lot from being part of a B rank squad in general. It is fascinating. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So
too bad none of what she said counted.
I mean, they were the top brass basically says like, well, she got 70% of the reason we're doing this. Should we bump her up to management position? And they're like, I don't know, dog. She's like 13.
Like, whoa, why don't we just put a tab on her?
Yeah. We'll keep her name on file. The interesting thing is that Yuma and Hughes both came up with a similar answer, which is funny because they're both neighbors, and top brass clocked that where they're both like, well, they're shuffling the squads because in case someone dies, just to see who can replace who if someone dies on the away mission. And I'm like, damn, these guys are cold-blooded, dude. I forgot how real like their experiences are.
Yeah, they've been through some shit.
Yeah, they've been through some shit, man. And you kind of forget like this series. There has been a ton of focus on Yuma since the series came back, you know, in terms of like introspective character stuff. So like you kind of forget that he's been through it. But anyway, yeah, Jin, Cronin, Kizuki, and Arashiyama gave them points based on that. Konami gave them negative ratings, which I thought was kind of like a funny little character moment for her.
She was mad type.
Because Yuma is like her student. You know, I remember when they first like linked up with Tomakoma, like she was the one who trained with him and stuff. So it's funny to her to shit on her pupil real fast.
Yeah.
I appreciate that little moment. So, yeah, they were basically like, one thing I forgot to mention about Somei's point, actually, is that they note that Kitora also said something similar to Somei, but Kodera basically put a time limit on his team. And they note that the reason Somei got more time out of that, got more thought out of that, is that Kitazo, her captain, was generous with how he allowed his teammates to think and process this stuff and give their answer. So they really are noting everything.
They surely, yeah. I was impressed, which says a lot because I was expecting it to be really intense, but it was. They thought about this from so many different perspectives.
Yeah. They mentioned that. They also talk about Osamu's little moment on the ship where he ran out of Tryon, and he found a quick workaround for it. Toma and Satori gave him points for that, and they're like, I guess they can do that.
Sure. So give him points for making the obvious solution. Whatever, man.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
No matter, man.
Nezumi is.
Do you have any Tryon, bro?
No, he's just a businessman. He's basically like, well, right. I guess we should have been concerned if he was stupid enough not to think of that. But yeah, so basically they all come together and they start to score them using the criteria that they really set out. Because obviously Somei, there's still more to the test than what Somei said. Although she got most of it right, there's more to it. So they're gonna base it on the criteria that they set, and based on that criteria, Mizukami squad got top, and Suwa squad got bottom.
Share me say.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't remember even what Mizukami's squad came down to. because they got closer, even closer than Some. So what was it that they said?
Also.
Yeah, I'm trying to find exactly what they came down to, but I don't think we saw exactly what happened. If there's any of these guys, their reasons that I kind of aligned with, I was very much on Kageura. What Kageura says that the reason that they jumbled us up is that on the real away mission, our squads won't matter when they toss us together. And I was like,
sure.
that was my thought.
Pretty much. That's how I looked at it too. Like, this is really a simulation for the away mission. Meaning, you're gonna be with people you're not used to. You need to learn more about yourself before you commit to this journey.
Yeah, I'm glad I aligned with Kageura. He's one of my favorites. Big fan. Me and Kageura on the same wavelength, baby. One thing I wanted to mention is something I thought of when I was reading this. One of the quirks of World Trigger that makes it so special is that it's a series that's obviously very introspective of its own internal logic. So they discuss shit. They discuss the rules of their own series, in a way where it feels like you're having a conversation, with them.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different viewpoints. Like, that's why it's kind of hard to theorize about World Trigger, is that it theorizes for you. So,
yeah, you're right. It kind of he covers a lot of ground, but not in like a. I don't know. It's not like he's doing the most. It's natural.
For sure.
It's like the opposite of lazy. He's like putting maximum effort into the thought process of every single one of his characters. I mean, what other series do you know where these board members are fully fucking fleshed out, damn near. Mm-hmm. We don't know their past, but that's the only thing we don't know. We damn near know their personalities and kind of what drives them a little bit.
Yeah.
And these are tertiary characters.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, yeah, for sure. Every character can be an avatar for an audience member, like how I felt with Kageura, where I'm like, oh shit, I was like Kageura, and I thought that's what I thought Kageura, and you feel like you're part of that conversation because you're also having that conversation in your head. It's kind of an interesting thing, and you're right, Josh. I've never seen this in any series. I think it's a very thing that
maybe like Bagumon.
Almost not even, because it's kind of like not even it's kind of weird. Because
yeah, you're right.
I've never seen a series like this, where it feels like you're reading, forums. It's a very fun thing. I feel like every opinion of what the theories behind the jumbling is addressed here. I really like that. I really think that's such a smart and unique thing that World Trigger brings to the table.
He's utilizing it with the characters too. I think that's what's key. That's another point I want to make to that. Like, it's not just. I'm gonna tell you this. One Piece does that a lot, where a lot of context is given. Like, you'll have these central characters that are important, like that wise elderly type, or who whatever new people they meet. But a lot of the time, you got side characters, kind of giving commentary on certain situations that you probably won't really see again at the end. I'm not trying to take anything away from One Piece. I guess I'm just trying to even make more of a point that, with World Trigger, he's introducing all these characters for a reason, because they all have an opinion and it will be valid at some point. When they speak, it's going to matter, and it's something to think about.
Yeah. It makes every character
masterclass.
For sure. It makes every character kind of three-dimensional. Every character sounds different. Yeah, and we don't.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. Every character is three-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean,
not just the dirty, filthy ones.
Maybe that's just. Maybe that's hyperbole.
Got me there. I haven't heard your voice in a while, so I had to say something.
Yeah, I do love this series. It is very great at that. The dialogue, and World Trigger is one of those series where I can read blocks of text because he's so good at writing dialogue, because it feels like people talking. It doesn't feel like over exaggerated. It feels like normal folks just having a conversation about something like you or I would have if we were in this situation.
Bro, it's so real. If I can't focus on the comic, like if I can't, or if I'm not even in the mood, I won't read World Trigger. I will wait until I am ready to focus and read literal pages. Well, it's still not like a book, but still.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's
more
a lot
than
of dialogue.
comic.
It's a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of bureaucracy. Honestly.
A lot of stuff to pay attention to. You have to understand the big picture before they start breaking it down. It's very easy to get lost in the sauce if you're not like paying attention.
For sure.
Which is I like that. It's grown up. Maybe and teens could do that too.
Oh yeah. And they don't sound like adults. It doesn't seem like these are things that kids wouldn't say, like teenagers wouldn't say necessarily. Because they're saying it like kids.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. I can't read this while I'm smoking. It's not a good.
You gotta be focused. I agree. I mean, you gotta it does take a lot of things to memorize because things come up later, and the series is about the things that they don't say as much as what they do say. Like Mizukami, for example, all that stuff. Like with him withholding results and instructions. Yeah, this is such.
That was interesting.
I
wouldn't have told my team that we was in last place either. Because come on, they didn't know what the criteria was. It's not fair. There's no point in bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Brian, do you have any thoughts? Of this World Trigger chapter? Brian?
Hello? Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was muted.
Yeah, go
this is a really slow part of World Trigger right now. There isn't much for me to actually say about it until things start to really ramp up. I think the series is great right now, honestly, but it's just in that world building phase of World Trigger,
Yeah.
where it's setting a lot up. What's up?
So, do you feel like if Makumo never, maybe for 3 months didn't shower or change his clothes, do you think that you would like the series a little bit more?
That's a very specific question that doesn't really apply to World Trigger, to be honest.
I respect that. That is your answer, right?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Did you wake up and choose violence today, Josh? You came out here angry already.
No, I didn't.
Well,
already salty.
I guess if anything, we should move on to our next series then.
I'm just ramping this up for the next issue. Come on, man. I'm building a hype.
Yeah. Well, this is World Trigger. Fantastic. Read World Trigger, please. I want this to do really well. World Trigger deserves to be so fucking just as popular as Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, and have a continuous really popular anime going.